In what way did the Indus Valley civilization influence Indian civilization today? So when we say, so there is this big, gigantic, monstrous, gargantuan misconception that the Indus Valley civilization was something that happened in the past. Yeah, it did happen in the past, but it's something that disappeared. The Indus Valley civilization, people believe, disappeared, and no one knows what happened to it. It simply vanished. What happened to those people? What was their culture? What was their language? That's what people believe, because that's what you're taught in your textbooks, and that's what your teachers tell you. The it was, first of all, it was not the Indus Valley civilization. It was the 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 major river of the civilization was the Saraswati. Okay, the Sindhu was a secondary river, and it was actually a Sapta Sindhu civilization, or Saraswati Sindhu civilization, whatever you want to call it. But it did not simply vanish. It still exists. We are the continuation of that time. Those were our ancestors. They did not ever vanish anywhere. The cities were abandoned, because when you are built, see, in the old days, cities were always built on the banks of rivers. And when a river disappears, what do? You need to move somewhere else. And of course, there are droughts and all that, which causes climate change, and you need to move because of that. So it did not. The cities were not abandoned overnight. People gradually moved away to other parts of the subcontinent. Some moved westwards. So the civilization never disappeared. It continued in different shapes and forms. We are the continuation of the civilization. People say, but their language hasn't been deciphered. How do we know what they wrote and what is the connection? The language has been deciphered. Bharat Rao has deciphered it. You can see the podcast on my channel, on this channel. He has deciphered it. And what does it turn out to be? Sanskrit. And you can see his website. I think it's called induscript.com, if I'm not mistaken. You will see the entire decipherment of the entire corpus of Harappan texts, Harappan, Indus Valley, whatever you want to call them, texts, the inscriptions, all of them have been deciphered. It was Sanskrit. I mean, what else do you want? Some people won't believe it. Some people, because they don't want to believe it, they'll not believe it. I don't blame them for not believing it. Once you have certain ideas in your mind, for most people, it's impossible to remove them. Once you're emotionally attached to some ideas, you're stuck there. If it's only through a great amount of effort that you can keep learning and be open to considering seriously something that you never believed was true, or you always believed was false. But that's the only way you grow in life. Most people after a certain age stop growing, and some people stop growing at the age of 12, it looks like. Anyhow, so if you look at the various characteristics of, now why do I say that the civilization never disappeared? It still exists. Well, let me show you. Let's once again go to our friend Google, and let me show you why. There's an article from 2016 and 2017. It's called The Aryan Invasion Myth. Myth by whom? By somebody called Chavda. So if you go to Medium, for example, you will see this, the Aryan Invasion Myth, how 21st century science debunks 19th century Indology. This is an article written by me. Which year was this? 2017. Now let me show. Okay. Look at this. You see these figurines, these little figures? Yes. So you will see, if you zoom in, I'm sorry, that's too far bigified. But if you look at these figures, see their hair. See the parting of the hair. What do you see there? Can you see where my mouse pointer is? Can you see what color that is? That's red. That's something that married ladies, that sindoor which they use in their head, in the parting of their hair. Well, these statuettes are from 2800 BC. They were found in Balochistan. This is obviously the golden era, the golden age of the so-called Indus Valley civilization, right? The mature Harappan age, supposedly. So you can see this is an example of something people still do. It was being done almost 5,000 years ago. Yeah, almost 5,000 years ago. So I'll tell you what. In the book The Rigvedic People, Invaders, Immigrants, etc., Professor Bibilal gives extensive archaeological evidence that many of the traditions and customs prevalent in the Sindhu Saraswati civilization continue to exist in modern India. Yoga. I mean, there are statues of people doing yoga from 3000 BC, from what you call the Indus Valley civilization, the Harappan civilization. Well, we still do yoga, don't we? The Shivalinga and Yoni. I mean, people still worship that today, don't they? The use of sindoor in married women's hair partition. Well, people still do that. The use of spiraled bangles among women in Haryana and Rajasthan and even Gujarat. The folk tale of the thirsty crow. Well, people still teach that folk tale to their children. The Namaste greeting. Well, it you will see lots of statues, little statues of people doing Namaste from this period of time, 3000 BC or even older. Lord Shiva's trident. Well, you will find lots of seals with the trident of Lord Shiva. Shivalingas, and so much more, so much more. There are so many aspects of the culture of that lost civilization that we still practice today. So it did not influence our civilization today. Our civilization today is a continuation of that civilization. We are the same civilization. The civilization never ended. And that is something people are not taught in school or college or wherever. It's like it was some civilization that came from God knows where and disappeared God knows where. That's what you're taught, which is so wrong.